the recognized symbol of excellence in collecting podcasts. All right, welcome back to the Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio. My name is Christian McGann, and I am a solo host for this podcast because John, he's filming the newest Ernest movie, Ernest Reborn. No, just kidding. That is an inside joke. He is training currently, like almost Mortal Kombat style. So hopefully he comes out alive. However, though I am by myself, void of John, I am not alone. I am joined by my good friend and bandmate, Chase Casillas.
What's up, guys?
Chase, good to have you here, man.
Good to be here.
Yeah, fellow collector. Chase, like I said, he is a bandmate. We play in a band called Virtue. It's a hardcore band here in Austin, Texas. Chase is also a stylist. I guess that's what we would kind of call it.
Clothing stylist. Yeah.
Clothing stylist. Mm-hmm. You've been doing some big stuff, I feel like, lately. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can talk about it to a degree, but Big Comedian will have a project out on Hulu this next November, and I got to style him and make sure he wasn't a total child through continuity.
That's sick, man. Yeah, that is really good. You so on top of being the stylist, you've almost somewhat fallen into acting to an extent, right?
Yeah, kind of crazy. I've been shooting a lot of little short films, mostly like commercial work.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, that's the first thing where like somebody literally pointed you out and was like, "That's our guy."
Yeah. So I did the Matthew McConaughey Salesforce commercial, and most recently, an indie horror psychological thriller called Transference.
Okay.
100% funded on Seed and Spark in 48 hours.
Amazing.
I've already shot my principal part, so I'm excited to see it happen. But let me tell you, it's dark. Your boy was shirtless.
Okay.
A ski mask on and a machete.
Okay, that's crazy. For those of you, you're gonna see if you follow us on Instagram, you're gonna see what Chase looks like. He is let's just say that your lifetime PR in the gym is his stretching routine. No, he's a very, very big fellow, a very strong fellow. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I have been seeing a lot of that. I guess the movie kind of like making its social media rounds because, you know, we know a couple different. Actually, it's weird. Like the Austin film, I guess, like community.
So small.
It's very small.
So
they
small.
all know each other, and it's like from all walks of life, and we kind of know people through different avenues, but like it's all comes back to the same thing. So that's really cool, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then one of our mutual friends, Wes, is a producer on it. Everyone should go look up his short film, Neuro. Yeah. That should be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, super fascinating because Wes actually, I met him because he plays on my baseball team, the South Austin Parakeets.
Yeah.
And you met him just via
the store.
Yeah. Working.
We was wearing a Star Wars Episode 1 pod racing tee, and we were just talking ball. And
that's sick. That is sick. Yeah, man, he's incredibly talented. Honestly, just kind of GOAT level. I think he's just like one of the most deserving people to kind of land in a lot of the really cool projects that he has. He's super. Like, when you talk to him, it's just like he's got this very genuine sense about him.
Way more friendly than he has to be in that
Way
field.
more friendly, yeah, exactly. Which, honestly, like, you know, sometimes, it's like that might be why he travels further through it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, but anyways, I mean, this is all kind of tying into what we've been talking about, but you are a, fellow collector of action figures and toys, and obviously this is an action figure toy podcast where we talk all about vintage, modern, and sometimes, I mean, we'll talk about some things that we don't actually care about, but for the most part, like if you're here to listen about anime statues or something like that, please find the next podcast.
Sorry, Keelan.
Our friend Keelan. I guarantee you he will hear this, and there will be repercussions. So, but anyway, so let's talk really quick before we dive into like what I really, really want to know is, what are you currently collecting? We're going to dive into the past, but I want to know what you're currently collecting.
So right now I've been kind of sporadic. There's been a lot of like little things that toy lines have done that have popped up that have really piqued my interest. So still collecting Marvel Legends. Okay. I really like that they're diving into more Ultimate Universe and way more comic-based properties lately. Yeah. And then recently, the one that surprised me was Ninja Turtles. It's I'm not the biggest fan of the new design of them, but they dropped that line that was bootlegs. Yeah. So because they had some short film, and in it they were the characters were getting made into AI rendered action figures, and that one piqued my interest because they look silly, bro.
What's the name of that one again? It's like
Tubular Tortoise Warriors.
That's amazing.
It's so good.
But then you can get those at Target though, right? Like
they were a Target pre-order and exclusive.
Okay.
When I texted you to give you the tip in case you guys were watching for them, I was bouncing from store to store trying to grab.
That's how it goes.
Yes,
that's how it goes.
So got the whole set.
Oh, you did?
I found out. I completed it. I got some of it in Round Rock and some of it in Austin.
Dude, that's hilarious. That's very very few and far between because obviously I don't really collect modern, so I don't really know the struggle of like the modern collector trying to find something in the wild. It's always going to be, there's a store here, obviously, like Monkey See, Monkey Do's are really big with like, they're going to have things that are like hitting the shelves. It's just going to be up $10, $15, $25. So it's really hard to find it in the wild, but you found it in the wild.
I found it in the wild. And what was cool about that one is when Target finally released it, they released it at $5 under the pre-order price, which upset a lot of people on Reddit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Other than that, I've gotten back into Transformers figures via a brand called Blokies.
Yes.
Or Blockies.
Blokies, I think, is something like that.
Something like that. But I took a chance on a blind box at Walmart. Got Optimus Prime first pull. I was like, the articulation on this is insane. And they were only $1.50 because they're on mega clearance, so I bought the whole case. So I was like, full send, fuck it. And then recently I got some of their Action Edition, and dude, these things are crazy posable.
Okay.
And what's really brilliant is like you're getting like a Japanese SH Figure Arts kind of like quality build.
Yeah.
But you have to build it yourself, which cuts the cost in half, which is crazy.
Really interesting.
So like, you pay $40 for like an 8-inch Optimus Prime. Collectors of that line know that's a pretty big figure. They're usually like 6-7 inches at most.
Yeah.
And $40, you complete it yourself. Does it transform? No. Is it the most posable thing I've ever played with? Yeah. It's insane.
I mean, that's cool. Like I've been seeing that company like jump on kind of like I don't know, like they're a lot more visible. Like they're more on the scene now.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean,
they got sorry.
No.
They got Robert Kirkman writing for them. Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
The guy making Absolute Batman is also writing that now. It's darker, and now there's a G.I. Joe crossover. And plus, I really wanted to get those figures because I have a 20-year anniversary G.I. Joe set I bought in the early 2000s. And the scale will be perfect.
Amazing.
Between the two. So
amazing.
I get to live out my comic dreams.
That's
through
great.
dioramas.
Yeah, that's super fascinating. Okay, so basically you've got Marvel Legends, you've got the kind of like bootleg Turtles, the Blokies Transformers. What else you got?
So the other line that I was like, wasn't sure I was going to collect until I saw it in person is Masters of the Universe doing the collab with Transformers.
Dude, okay, so I'm going to pause right there because honestly, that is so interesting because the other day John and I went to Target and we were kind of going through there and he was kind of pointing it out at the crossovers, like the crossover lines. And it's always sort of asking, it's like, well, it's these two massive lines that people love.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then they cross over, and then for some reason it's like those might be hitting Ross, right?
Right.
But that's really, I've never met somebody or heard somebody that's like actually fired up on it. But you're fired up on it.
I'm fired up on it. I like a good crossover. Always have, because like you're a comic reader.
Of course.
What was the best thing? An unannounced hero cameo.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it's kind of that same feeling I get. There also has to be a good storyline for it.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, I can totally buy that Transformers and He-Man live in a shared universe.
Okay.
Like, I can subscribe to that. Also, like, with lines like, they just, it hasn't come out in stores fully yet, but it's Power Rangers and Godzilla.
Yeah.
The collab.
Yeah.
So things like that, I'm like, that's cool. That's like a little nifty thing. Are some total duds? Absolutely. Like Stranger Things Masters of the Universe. Who asked for that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I can see like great 80s properties coming together, or like the when you were at my birthday and I got gifted the Sonic Flash.
Yeah.
Like,
that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a good crossover. Plus those figures are like sleeper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, that is super interesting. Okay, there anything else on there?
I have been looking at, I guess, G.I. Joe Classified.
Yeah. Okay.
So my whole diorama that I'm building out is Dr. Doom and Red Skull with a bunch of hired help from Cobra and Hydra.
Wow.
So I'm doing a story plot there.
Dude, that is sick.
Also, we got to remember G.I. Joe started as a Marvel comic.
It did.
So them and Transformers were written by Marvel initially.
Yeah.
So that's what I've really been into. So I collect like from the G.I. Joe line over the top like villains.
Okay.
Like, because I want them to look like they would exist and be able to stand up to these heroes.
Yeah.
Because, regular foot soldier going up against Iron Man, it's like, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're dying.
Dude, that's actually really interesting because, we're in my toy room right now. And it's like I have my Marvel shelf and I've got my DC shelf. They don't necessarily tell a story other than like, I've got the Iron Mans together, the X-Men together, the Spider-Man together, and then like kind of miscellaneous characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That almost makes sense that they would be on their own shelf. But you're actually telling a story.
I'm a big diorama guy.
Which I love.
Yeah,
and like I've talked to John on the podcast, and I guess it's even in person, we've sort of talked about like what would it look like if we just sort of created these dioramas. Like we did an episode a couple episodes back where we essentially made our own play set.
Yeah.
And that part was like, okay, like what would we have loved obviously when we were younger, but now, and it's like, how can we tell a story? Mine was Punisher's hideout.
There we go.
Yeah, and then his was like a NECA street scene, which would just be like a road with all kinds of like removable, fire hydrants, whatever it is. It's like stuff like that. But I really like that. So you have sent me a couple of your photos, and I didn't even really put two and two together that they were basically like posing against each other.
Right. Right now, since I moved into the new house, I have limited...
I didn't know you moved.
Yeah. I live right near where your t-shirt's from.
Oh, dude, so you live in Bastrop.
I live in Old Town Bastrop.
That's amazing. Holy crap, I have never been more jealous.
I know, it's pretty cool. We're just there on Pecan. But yeah, right now I've been posing all of them like you would see like on a comic cover.
Okay.
But I have plans to do like a 3-level shelf with the fire escape on the side with 3 different parts of the battle going on.
And your lady, how does she feel?
She's fine.
Okay.
She's
a creative, right?
She's a creative too. And the thing is, like, she knew that I was coming with this sort of thing, so I was like, she offered me a room basically in the house, and I was like, awesome. And we call it the autism cage. It's also the guest room. So it's like guess. I hope you're ready for a bunch of memorabilia in this room to be painted like a blockbuster.
Dude, that's amazing. That's exactly. Honestly, like that's the fulfillment of just like obviously when I come in here, it's like. Yeah, I could just sit and stare at the shelf for like hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like that's honestly like I was telling you before we started recording, where I was getting really itchy, and there's not a, John and I always talk about this a lot in the episodes about how just like hard it is to sort of go and get vintage toys in Austin, because some places carry they carry some of it, they carry very few of it. Right now, Bad City Toys is not open. I guess they're in between shops. But I drove to Collector's Crossroads, and because I was just in here and I'm just like being surrounded by all these toys, and it just like working on some, like kind of I don't even know what you would say, just like, organizing and stuff like that. But then, so I got itchy enough where I'm like, all right, I got to get something. I got to go get something. I found those, what would you call them? What are they called? The Ninjetti?
Oh, yeah, the Ninjetti. So in the Power Rangers movie, when they're searching for the ultimate power on the other planet, they're granted powers from, I forget her name. She looked great in that movie, though. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. And basically she gave them the power, like half of the power, or like a quarter of the power. Okay. And so like during that phase of Power Rangers, there was like Street Kids, Ninjetti, then they were called Power Rangers. Those dumbass kids. I mean, the first thing I would do is like suit up, call the Ultrazord, let's call it a day. Yeah.
But either way, they look sick.
They're so cool.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I found a couple of loose.
I went as the Tommy Ninjetti for Halloween.
Dude, that is sick.
My mom made the costume. We got the pattern for it at Joann's.
I love that. That's amazing. But okay, so back to the diorama that you're working on. So basically, just doing a whole entire room devoted.
Doing it well, and there's going to be multiple. So like the room, on the wall, the things I don't care if they're cased or not are the Hasbro figs. They're fun to look at, but it's like it's not like these guys where I'm gonna like take a little extra care of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're great diorama builders and pretty posable. Then I want to do the Transformers G.I. Joe.
Okay.
And I guess I forgot one, Hot Wheels.
You're a Hot Wheels guy.
Yeah. Interesting. It has to be movie related or special edition.
Okay.
I put limits onto what I could collect with like little stipulations like that.
Okay.
So right now, Hot Wheels has a Pantone line out of just like singular color cars from the Pantone catalog. Okay. And what I want to do is order one of those Japanese 7-Eleven like dioramas that lights up. Yeah. And use it for like a nightstand lamp with the Pantone cars in front of it.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of ties into like other things that we've actually been recently talking about, which is like rules that we set for ourselves. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And that area sounds like you're diving into sort of the rules that you give yourself. Because, like part of what kind of led into that conversation was moving out of the room. Because sometimes you expand, like you grow. Like the reason I've got the, I don't know if you saw them on top.
Yeah, I saw your dinosaurs.
Yeah, like they're so big,
they're
I
huge.
have nowhere to store them. So I was like, all right, I've got to go outside the room. And Jurassic Park in general was sort of me breaking my own rule, because it was like a lot of these are modern, and whereas like the majority of what I collect is like personally vintage, what I would consider vintage for myself. But what other rules do you feel like you have? I mean, you're I mean, like obviously the storytelling via the diorama is very much a rule,
right? Very much. It keeps me from buying like mainline GI Joes. Like, do I need a Duke? No, at the end of the day, he's just a blonde dude. Yeah. Like, right. So I want, like, the specialty stuff. When I started, like, getting back into collecting after college, when I started making a little money, was Funko. Okay. The Pops were brand new.
A little bit of a cuss word on this.
No, I know it is. Yeah. And I know it's taboo. That's why they live in a shoebox now.
That's fair. That's fair.
But it was something to do to pass the time for my hour break working at Nordstrom. Yeah. Okay. And so the stipulation I put on myself then, exclusives, store exclusives only, and Chase figures. Okay. I found like one Chase figure. All the other stuff are exclusives. But I'm sitting on some heat, dude. I got the Rocketeer one.
That's cool.
That's such a weird one.
It's like very super niche.
Yeah. And obviously, like, there was a lot of bullshit sculpts with that line. So, like, it was, had to catch my eye a little more.
Yeah, well, that was like, so, I mean, however many years ago that was, probably, 2017-ish, or what do you think?
Oh, no, it would have been before that, because when I was working at Nordstrom, it was like, 2015. It was before I moved to Austin.
Okay, so hot on the heat. I mean, like, to be fair, like, Funko was brand new at that time.
Brand new.
And it was very much this, like, people were going crazy for it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's how it all started. I was like walking past a box lunch, and there was this line, and I didn't know what a box lunch was. And I was like, what is that? He's like, exclusive Star-Lord figure. And I was like, I like Star-Lord. So I got in line and got to the front and saw these people buying like 4 at a time.
Crazy.
And so I was like, okay, so this is something. Yeah, let me grab one. Like,
it's really interesting to see. I mean, I know there's still a Funko Pop community for sure.
You don't want to deal with them, bro. Like,
trust me. Like, I remember specifically being at a collector place. I think it may have been Collector's Crossroads the first time I had gone there.
Yeah.
And I was obviously dumbfounded the first time because it was like the first time stepping in there, and obviously like when you go in there, it's like, oh my god, this is like a mecca, or it could be a mecca, right? And I remember seeing these guys that I was like, I would never expect them to be at a collecting place, and I'm thinking like, I'm trying to see what are they getting in their hands, because they look like frat boys,
right?
And then I'm like kind of looking around and whatever, and then they go over to the Funko Pops, and I was like, gotcha.
I had no idea it was going to wind up like Beanie Babies, because at the time it was the only property out there putting out licenses that have never been out before.
True.
So like I have really niche stuff. Like there was this they made only 500 of them, but it was Gabriel from this Dark Horse comic book called LMS Diary of a Kill Book of an Assassin.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, weird ass sculpt too.
Yeah.
Like
that's funny, man.
Helmet, but yeah, and then it took off and became this cringe thing, and I put him in a shoebox when I discovered I was embarrassed of inviting women over to my house. I was like, you know what? I don't like you guys watching me. Like, you guys look like children's toys.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So they're in a shoebox now. So
hey, like that the evolution of the collector is something that I'm like really fascinated by.
Yeah.
And like we put out a recent episode called like inside the mind of a toy collector, which is essentially, let me understand how people make their rules surrounding their toys, right?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes these things that are like, oh man, you are on the hunt for the Funko Pops. You're on the hunt. You're trying to find all of these cool items.
And honestly, that's what it is. It's the high of the hunt.
It's the hunt. 100%.
So, because that's really what like turned me on to it.
Yeah.
And then I remember like, you kind of caught inklings of when I was getting the figure bug, because you saw the exclusive Namor and Punisher.
Dude, when I went to your apartment, I'm like, do you know like what you have on your shelf? And you're like, and then you were like, yeah, I was there the day it was born. And I was like, okay, like let's teach about it. So, all right, so that gets me into this next kind of portion. Because I would say, who actually recommended you initially? Obviously, like I was already on my brain, but Mikey, our drummer, he was like, dude, Chase would be such a good person to have as a guest on the podcast because of your wealth of knowledge of all. I mean, obviously, just like just TV and movies in general.
Yeah,
but I'm really curious at like. I guess we can start when you were younger, but what was the first thing? Do you remember?
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, it was for my dad it was a cheap thing. It was 99 cents or less at the time.
Less, yeah.
And it made his son happy for a week.
So your heyday was like, I guess whenever you became sentient, right? So around like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then like up until what age did you stop, I guess, like playing with toys?
I never like full cold turkey stopped.
Same.
If I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
But when it piped down, probably would have been around like 15, 16.
Okay.
But that's when I started dinking around with music too.
Same.
So,
that's crazy.
Like,
that's exactly the same.
So like it was just like, the things I would still do is I would still play with Legos.
Okay.
Because it was fun no matter what age.
100%.
And video games. But other than that, like it was pretty much 0 Dark 30 until the first Transformers came out.
So 2007.
Yeah.
I think.
I have a lot of that original line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so before we get to that, so Hot Wheels being the very first thing that you kind of get into.
Yeah.
And then what comes next?
The progression of any late 80s, 90s. Ninja Turtles.
Beautiful.
Love the Turtles. And then Power Rangers hit like an atom bomb.
Okay.
Like,
so 93, I believe. Right?
93.
Yeah.
And at the time I was also still riding hard for G.I. Joe. That's always been there. You know, like I feel like, you know, to be fair, that it's a propaganda tool for anything. So they introduce you very young on that line.
Yeah.
And you know the intro was a banger.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was always consistent. Then Power Rangers, and Batman. I was a big fan of the Batman Returns line. I had Batman Returns. Yeah.
Okay.
I was a little young for the OG Batman line because that dropped in like 89.
It should be 89.
89. Yeah. So I had the Batman every kid had at that time, and that was the one where you pull his front belt and you hook it on something and he glides on up to it.
That's sick.
And then when the second one came out, bro, they made like Batman was doing fucking everything. I had radar Batman. I had laser Batman. I had underwater Batman. I was like Michael Keaton going on all these adventures.
Yeah,
like,
that never happened. But so before you said that you had, because I told you, I was like, hold on, we're going to talk about that on the podcast. But you had the Batmobile.
I had the Batmobile.
Okay. And
its play feature was you would push the top of it and it would turn into the Bat Missile. So like when he's fleeing, have you seen Returns?
Dude,
Yet?
I mean, like, yes and no.
Okay.
It was before me, and it's like, part of me is like, hey, let me just let it exist what it is, and not let it get ruined.
Those movies are goated.
All right.
But yeah, like, he, like, ejects the side of his car to drive down an alley. Okay. And so that had that play feature. I had the cave, which I don't know how many times they made that damn cave. But a lot.
Oh, dude, it's like...
It's the same thing.
It's the same.
Like, yeah, and it was bullshit. You had to buy your own Bruce Wayne to, like, do that little flip over.
Okay.
I was like, I hate that. Even as a kid, I never got the Bruce Wayne. I was like, fuck it. Batman turns into a different Batman.
So, this is like a side tangent, but were you a playsets? Did you have playsets?
Huge.
Okay, so you had G.I. Joe playsets, or what
G.I. Joe, I had the vehicles.
Okay.
But when it came to play sets, it was like Ninja Turtles.
So Technodrome or like that's the only one that I'm really interested in.
I didn't have the Technodrome. I had the sewer.
Okay, the sewer.
So no Technodrome. Mom was always real hesitant about like the big vehicles. So, you know, no U.S. flag for me. You remember when I saw that thing, I lost my mind.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like 6 or 7 feet tall or whatever long.
A lot of the diorama stuff I had were miniatures. Huge into Micromachines and Mad Max as well.
Okay.
Which was like Boy Polly Pocket, just like way more gonzo, and darker.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay, so then you've named like the big. Obviously, I'm assuming He-Man was in there at some.
He-Man was actually not allowed.
Interesting,
bro. It was so strange. My mom would be like, eh. Like, just straight up like, eh. I'm like, what are you hearing at church?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like...
I've talked tons about my childhood experiences growing up in church.
Yeah.
And so knowing, like, while some things are, like, I'm okay to watch, other things, it's like a head scratcher. So interesting about He-Man. Yeah. Maybe it's just because of what he's barely wearing anything, maybe.
Yes. I mean, but that was my whole childhood. Like, I saw Evil T-1000 gore John Connor's like stepdad in the face with the spike.
Yeah,
but I could not watch The Simpsons. That's like those little boys are being bad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's like I think they didn't even know at the time either. Like
no.
I think they're like I'm assuming probably because it's The Simpsons, not allowed to watch that, but then like these other movies, maybe I don't know. Maybe what they're more interested in.
Probably good now that we found out that Matt Groening's on the Epstein list.
Oh my god.
Mighty Champions Podcast. I'll be right back after these messages.
Oh my god. Okay, so Not He-Man. So I'm trying to think about what other lines were at that time. Were you Terminator?
Some Terminator.
Okay.
Strangely enough, I didn't like have my Terminator comeuppance because I was like 4 when Part 2 dropped. But when they opened the ride at Universal Studios T2 3D, they re-released that line.
Yes, the big stuff of yes,
exactly. So I did have the T800 with no skin on it, and the John Connor one because it was a no-brainer. It came with the motorcycle. Like, if a figure comes with a vehicle, I'm like
100%
down.
Yeah,
and it's in a blister pack. Sold.
Dude, that's sick. Okay, so dude, yeah, and then the evolution because I've heard you mention like more obscure toy lines,
dude. And that's the thing I'm trying to keep from going down all these tangents.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was, and some of them have been remade, which is crazy. So like Barnyard Commandos.
I've seen the name.
Yeah.
I've seen that they're being remade.
Yeah.
Same with like the Biker
Mice from Mars.
Yeah. And then, God, I want to say Butt Ugly Martians, but that's not it. It's,
Martians.
No, it's, obviously Street Sharks is being redone.
Yeah.
I think Mondo maybe or something.
Mondo did. I think it's actually Mattel.
Maybe you might be right. Yeah, I think Mondo did a version, but they were like huge. But then I think they're or NECA maybe. I don't remember what it is. But okay, so some of the more obscure lines.
So I got into some weird ones.
Were you Madball guy?
Wasn't a Madball guy.
Okay.
You know what I had a lot of that. There's 2 that really stick out to me as like, damn, I wish I still had these.
Yeah.
I had a lot from the Titan AE movie release.
Wild.
Dude, a lot. I had vehicles. I had like, I was obsessed. Me and my little brother loved that movie.
That's so interesting.
We had that. And then there was another miniature-based playset called War Planets, I think.
Okay.
It was sick. So like basically you would get a planet, you would open it, and inside would be like Micromachine battle tanks, whatever their vehicle was. You'd get a mini army in there too. And so you would go to war with other planets.
Sick.
And I remember the big one we got, Sinjin got it for his birthday, my little brother. And it was the Beast Planet. Dog, I wish I had it. It was a giant orb. The front opened up, and a giant claw would come out and could grab all the other size planets and retract and pull it in.
Crazy.
The top would pop off into its own ship too. Like, insane.
So, what was it called?
I think War Planets.
War Planets. Interesting, dude.
Yeah.
It's like some of those like kind of like deeper niche.
It's very niche.
Because it is sort of like a micro machine sort of territory where it's like smaller items and stuff. So, it's,
oh no.
What do we got? What was that one?
Iron Man.
Iron Man took a dive.
One of the marks.
It was the Marvel Select.
Yeah. We can fix it.
It's really interesting because I was actually trying to sell that one and then I already put it back up. Dude, this is the second figure today that has taken a dive off my shelf and potentially broke. His legs popped off.
Yes, but luckily it's all one hinge. It's
you
like
could probably put it back on.
Yeah,
but I had a Power Ranger fall off the shelf and his head literally exploded into like 15 pieces. So whatever poltergeist is coming against me right now, please.
It's like Toy Story, only darker. They have suicide packs.
Oh my god! All right, dude. So yeah, that's sick.
There was that line. Another one that sticks out that me and my little brother collected hard was like the original Little Judge Dredd line, and they were like 2.75 inches.
Yeah.
And we just like back in the day, KB had those bins 2 for $5. And dude, my dad was amped to spend $5 to get his kids to be quiet and go in a room. Like, so like it was those were a big one. Got real into. I was a huge Shadow fan.
Interesting, dude.
So I listened to the audio tapes. My dad grew up. My dad's old, so he like grew up listening to the radio series.
Yeah.
So I used to fall asleep listening.
Is that where the Rocketeer comes into play? Because Rocketeer sort of falls in that same category, I feel like, is like sort of the forgotten heroes.
Rocketeer, though, that one was just an amazing moment of cinema. Like, when you have multiple movies coming out, you're excited, kind of like the Barbie Oppenheimer thing.
Yeah.
that summer, I think it was, had to have been like around 90, 91, was Dick Tracy and Rocketeer.
Crazy.
And I was like, I want to see both of those. Rocketeer ruled, Dick Tracy fell asleep. That movie's weird as hell, bro.
I do remember Dick Tracy. I need to rewatch it because I remember it being like a fever dream.
You're going to lose your mind. He's like, no face, get him. And a guy with no face stands up.
Dude, so like that actually, it wasn't until like semi-recently when somebody said the word no face.
Yeah.
And it like triggered this thing where I was like, okay, so it wasn't a dream.
No.
Like I literally thought that was like a weird thing that I experienced as a child.
Yeah.
Of like a nightmare fuel. But it was like a woman, I think, right? Like it turned out to be a woman.
I can't remember.
Something like
but
that.
Yeah, just like he follows him around the whole movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, yeah, okay, so then the Shadow, so did you get into the Shadow line? I literally saw a Shadow figure today.
I got into the Shadow after the movie came out, but I was already into the Shadow before. Because, we didn't know the movie was going to get announced or anything.
Yeah.
My dad was just big on showing me the stuff that he was into. But yeah, when that movie came out, I was like, hell yeah. And those toys were sick, too.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some, like, kind of... It's funny because, like, they're of the time. And they're, like, movies of the time. Or, like, even with the Shadow is, like, really unique because it's sort of a... that's like a 30s. I forget what they call that. Or what
the radio serial?
Like radio serial
Yeah.
or like... Charleston. Is that Charleston Comics? It may not be. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't know who was publishing comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like the Spirit and then like Shadow and then some of those other...
He's changed hands a lot.
Okay.
Because he's been Dark Horse, and in the 80s, he was DC and had 2 really good runs. Really violent, too. It was like the first time you would see DC putting like mature reader.
Interesting.
On the cover.
That's cool.
RoboCop levels of violence. Like
Even better. Oh, so were you a RoboCop guy?
Huge RoboCop guy.
Okay.
Paul Verhoeven's one of the greatest directors that ever existed. You know what? This is a good one to talk about. Inappropriate for children toy lines.
Yeah.
We already talked about Terminator 2. RoboCop, very into that. Bro, that movie's so violent.
I watched it for the first time last year, like late last year.
Fantastic.
It was like shockingly like
so violent.
Yeah, it was always talked about. Like when I was younger, it was like RoboCop being the bloodiest movie of all time. Even they make the joke in Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah.
Where he's like, it's even bloodier than RoboCop.
Yeah.
Did you have RoboCop toys?
I had RoboCop toys.
Did you have... so John talks about it, and John... Basically, like one of his grails, if not his grail, would be the Robo 1 from RoboCop and the Ultra Police, which is like the vehicle.
Oh, like the Ford Taurus thing. Like
it's like a police car.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's that would be a grail. I had mainly just RoboCop figures.
That's sick.
So I had ones that were kind of modeled like the 90s DC models with like not too much movement.
Yeah. I think I can kind of picture which ones you're talking about. Because they're shorter, right? Like smaller scale? Or
yeah.
Are they still... Okay.
Yeah. So,
dude, that's sick. So, all right. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. So, and then they got really big scale. My favorite one was actually the animated series one.
Yeah, that's like the Ultra Police, I believe is what
Okay, yeah. I had that RoboCop.
Dude, that's sick.
I have no idea where he went, but I had him.
I mean, as John and I learned, it was just sort of like we have these unlocked memories that happen as we talk where, he was thinking back about a Predator and a Wolverine that he like buried somewhere at some campsite for whatever reason. And I told him, I was like, dude, we need to go back and find them.
That needs to be a whole documentary.
I'm telling you. And it's like, I'll think about stuff where I'm like, what even happened to that? Like, and if I were to go back and actively try to figure out what the trail of events, it's like sometimes they just disappear. And maybe that's like something that...
Do you ever get emotional when you see the ones that disappeared in the wild when you're hunting?
I mean, if you look at my shelf, like that's probably the number one driving force. I mean, we did this thing the other day, which was like action figure Moneyball, which was like, what would it take for you to give up these figures? And whichever ones that were like really important to me, or that I always would just be like, see in the ad, and it would be the thing that I would, like my North Star.
Yeah.
Like, I need to have that. And it'd be like, man, like, okay, what about $500 or whatever? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd do it. Or you had to trade me like at least like 6 or 10 other toys,
and
just
20 favors.
Yeah, like literally. So I'm very much like nostalgia driven. That was like kind of my driving force. That's why, again, like everything I have, like even with those Ninja Power Rangers, I've never seen that before, but I saw it back in then at some point, and it was like, wow, that's
Ding,
awesome.
ding, ding.
Yeah, and now it's just okay. Like I have a pact with my younger self that I have to like pay respects to whatever he was in love with back then. So,
before we get going back, inappropriate toy lines.
Yes,
the crazy one, Paul Verhoeven, historically directs these movies. They're violent, have underlying themes like RoboCop is anti-capitalism, but I'm buying his toys. And then you have Starship Troopers.
That's right.
An anti-war, like anti-fascist movie.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have recently.
Incredibly violent.
Yeah.
Lots of nudity.
Yeah.
I had a 3rd grade Starship Troopers birthday party. They made that stuff. I had Micromachines. I had RCs. I had the figures. I had like the big like bomber plane.
Yeah.
But there was also like fucking party hats and like
that's so funny.
And like I all this happened before I even saw the movie. And I remember we bring the movie home and my mom was just like, oh.
Oh, you had it before you saw the movie.
I hadn't seen it. I was just like,
unbelievable.
It was one of those things like walking down the toy aisle and it had this bright red packaging. It was like, love it. Sick. These things are huge. All the toys come with something that shoots a projectile missile.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
And I was like all in on it. And then we saw the movie. I was like, oh God. Like, it was like one of the first like really egregious violent and nudity movies that like my parents left on because they were like, oh, you had a whole birthday party. We kind of already endorsed this.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Dude, yeah, I mean, which I also learned that he did the movie Showgirls. We don't have to get into detail about that movie, but apparently he directed it.
It says Versace. Yeah.
Dude, that's yeah. Well, definitely not kids' toys for that one.
No.
But that is hilarious, man. Yeah, we did talk about that too. Like, same with Predator. Like, it's just so funny how, like, back then they could just be like, well, this would market to like a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old boy, so they're just gonna make it.
Girls
anyway.
ripping out
Rambo.
spines of veterans.
Yeah. Oh my God. But the Rambo, I mean, like we talk pretty heavy about Rambo. The guns from Rambo, I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Yeah.
They don't have, I don't think they have the orange
They
cap.
did not have.
Yeah.
At least not the first goer.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I'm pretty sure there's one where it's like a 1911 or something like that. Colt 1911, whatever. Not Colt, but whatever it is. And then you can like hook it to like it comes with a holster and hooks to the front of your bike. It's just crazy that they were just like, here you go.
Have fun, kids.
Exactly. But nobody, I mean, at the time, nobody cared. And it was like, okay, eventually we got to put the little orange cap on.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So
that's when the fun ended.
Yeah. All right. So now that's like kind of into the early 90s. And then 92, 93. So 92 is like Terminator. 93, Power Rangers comes out. And then like 94 plus or whatever. I think you were going to tell me about something when I was talking about a figure flashback. Just because it's on the top of my brain.
Yeah.
You had one about... crap, what's the Jingle All the Way? Was that the Turbo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was, that came out when I was in 3rd grade. And I remember seeing it in stores and going like, that thing's sick. Like Turbo Man looks.
Oh, they actually had them in
They
stores.
had them. Yeah. It was a toy, like a real toy. And, they didn't look as cool as the one in the movie. The movie had like gold and all this nice stuff like, on it. But they had the real toy, and he's big. Like, you've seen him on my shelf. And I knew that was a special one. And it was one of those things where they had to call in family help for Christmas. Because it was like, they were sold out everywhere in the valley.
Oh, dude, so you're living the movie.
Exactly. So they sent my grandma in Baytown to go get it.
Whoa. That's hilarious. Your grandma went on the same journey that Arnold went on?
Yep, and I respected that toy because I knew that. I have all the accessories and it still works. All the lights.
So you still have it?
I still have that.
That
one.
is a
There's
God.
various items that made it through my childhood that I knew. I was like, this one's special. We're going to treat this one different.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So, okay, then I guess... I know you told me that you were like, okay, I know I have like a big box of them somewhere. Mm-hmm. Do you know like which lines made it this far? Or have you even looked, I guess? And would you bring them back to your new place?
Yes. Now that there's more room. Like, you know, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I was a single guy, so that was like... Bruh. Like... Here's where the magic does not happen.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So I will be bringing those out. So I got like Transformers, a lot of like OG McFarlane. That was also like 3rd and 4th grade
like
when that
the scary McFarlane? Like,
scary.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So I had like the Freak, for instance, who came with a bag of like bloody.
That's
like shit. Like,
so how old were you when you were getting those?
I was probably about 9. So I was moving into like 4th grade.
And how was that happening?
My parents were like reluctantly, because like these things were still so niche, you had to go to a comic shop to get them.
Okay.
And I knew my mom was a little concerned about it because I was like going after the same figures that grown men were.
Okay.
You know, like it was just like, I remember like being in a Toys R Us and my mom found Spawn 3, this beautiful figure. I still have it too. And it's got this massive wingspan. It had the green light up eyes. And I remember like my mom going like, would you like this? Because we were there for my birthday. I was like, yeah, I would love that. And this dude in like a Spawn hat and t-shirt like run up. Is like, ma'am, where did you find that?
Whoa. That's like vintage collecting.
Yeah, that was OG collecting. That they had such a crazy fan base. I remember when the Spawn movie came out, I never got a single figure from that line because all I wanted was the Spawn. He was sick in that line. Yeah. And there was this place called the Gold Mine in McAllen, Texas. I would call to be like, yeah, we'd have it. I would come, and some like 40-year-old had already beaten me to it.
That is amazing.
It was like, and I think my mom saw how much it meant to me, so that just kind of like let me collect it more.
Dude, you were like fighting. Like that's funny because I never witnessed that at a young age where there was a point where I learned about like the adult collector.
Yeah,
like, that was something that
that was the only line I ever saw that behavior.
So that is, well, I mean, if you think about it, Spawn very much was...
It's an adult property.
It was an adult property because my memories of Spawn when I was younger is that there would be like, the bad kid at church was like, you ever hear of Spawn? And I was just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to hear about
And we were all like reading it, but like looking back on it, I was like, that was incomprehensible to children. Like, you're not even, I'm like, I had no idea what the timer on the front page meant. I'm like, where are those numbers?
That's
like,
funny, bro.
Not knowing that's his timer before he expires.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, you don't even really think, same with like RoboCop, same with Predator, same with Terminator. It's like, it's just like, what is happening in a 9-year-old's brain.
Exactly. Basically. It was just, it looked cool. It was dark. I was like, oh yeah.
Dude, so that's funny because I never witnessed that firsthand. Really, I never had any experiences where I was even like, you know, I was homeschooled for a large period of my childhood.
Yeah.
So I would go to the store during the day with my mom. So I would just be like, you know, one of one basically in the entire Walmart. So I never had to go up against anybody trying to get the same toys that I was trying to get. The other thing is that I had been to Toys R Us in its heyday one time ever. So KB Toys was mine.
Yeah.
So in McAllen, I guess that's basically where you grew up the majority, right?
Yeah. We had both.
You had both in
We
McAllen.
had both, bro.
Dang.
Dang.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the KB was where you would go to get like I wasn't getting anything I truly desired because I remember they're like main, like if it was a new toy, it was like expensive because it was a mall toy, so it cost a little more.
Interesting.
At least that's the way my mom would explain it.
Okay, that's a kind of like breaking news.
So the only thing I remember getting there that was new was that Marvel, the gray cardback. It wasn't Legends, but it was like Marvel Heroes. I think is what it was called.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I got that.
That was like late '90s toy biz. Yeah.
But for the most part, that's where I got into the weird toys because I would pull from the bins most of the time.
At KB.
Because
KB was my first introduction into the McFarlane figures, where I was going too far looking at from the X-Men movie line, and just so happened right next to it was just like a, like mutilated corpse. And I was just like, my mom was like, Christian, I don't think you need to be over here. So that was my thing. But what's funny is Tyler, or my buddy Tyler, I've told this on the podcast.
I know Tyler.
You know Tyler. So
Tyler was in the band at one point.
He was in the band. But he was telling me that he was like, man, so Toys R Us was where you could get, like, obviously you could get anything, right?
Yeah.
He said it was very much in the video games were very, at least in maybe his heyday. But he was like, KB was the place if you wanted the good stuff.
Interesting.
So that's interesting. And I'm like curious if maybe like in McAllen, because KB Toys was in the mall, maybe it was more expensive, whereas Toys R Us probably had its own brick and mortar.
Yes. Well, and the thing with KB was it was very Nintendo heavy. So it had less variety.
Okay.
And then Toys R Us, like, I would get into hyper specific things and it would be there.
Wow.
So, and that's I can see where Tyler's coming from,
yeah,
though, because
he was,
they had a banger stock list, but it was small.
Okay.
But like, for instance, I couldn't get the Titan AE line there.
Interesting.
But they had the whole thing over at Toys R Us.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was like,
that is so funny that you bring up Titan AE, because last time I was at Dallas Vintage Toys, I was like walking through the aisle and I saw some Titan AE figures, and I was like, man, that's so funny how like there's a market for everybody.
Everyone. Yeah.
Every single person.
Well, especially back in the day with movie merchandising, they're like, does it look cool? Throw it on.
But we didn't care because but it was like I mean, again, like I literally was explaining to you about like why Godzilla from 1998, the Matthew Broderick movie, is my Godzilla, and it's like it just worked so well. The marketing worked so well.
I feel like we also be doing a disservice by not talking about Small Soldiers.
Talk about it. Talk about it. I've talked about it a bunch. And
you did? Okay. Well,
I did an episode about it. Not in the detail that we could absolutely talk in it, because I was talking about a line that I would like if they revamped it. If they re-released it, I would be there. But let's talk Small Soldiers.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was... I just because I know Mikey is going to be like, what about Small Soldiers?
Of course.
Loved it. Was at Universal right before it released, so I got to tour, like, the sets and see all, like, the lighting and stuff they did for it.
Wow.
And that's also where I saw the first figure line. But I didn't want anything because the only one they had was Flechu, who's not even a Gorgonite. It's the thing that farts. Like when he's like showing him like, he's like, it's part of the Belch Brigade. Like,
were they sold out of everything else?
Everything else was gone. Like,
oh my god!
Major Chip Hazard and Brick Bazooka were so hard to find.
Okay,
you could find Gorgonites anywhere, but they made less of. I feel like they made less of the villains.
That's funny.
So, but what bothered me and what I agree with is they need to revamp it.
That'd be. I mean, I think there would personally be a market for it.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying?
There's I follow a guy on Instagram. He does customs.
I've seen the
like
customs.
The movie. Yeah,
they look great.
That's what needs to happen because, dude, those old ones were BS. Like they molded the joint but didn't actually put it there.
Yeah, the scale was interesting because they made like a 5 or 6 inch scale, and then they would make like movie accurate scale. So it'd be like, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 inch.
Yep.
I had the Archer 6 inch scale, and then somehow I came across a Major Chip Hazard. I don't know. It was either a thrift store find or somebody gave it to me that was like, hey, do you want this? Like, it was like a charity gift kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I loved it. And it was, you could push button on his belt, I think, or his chest. Actually,
Did he have the cloth pants?
No, didn't have the cloth.
Okay.
No, it was
That's my
plastic.
grail, bro. I want to find one of those boxed so bad.
My god! Yeah, some places, Misfit Toys in Houston, I think, was like the last place that I saw that they had like a pretty gnarly Small Soldiers like collection in the back, like behind the shelf or behind the case, and I was like, yo, that might actually. And then I was zooming in on those prices, and I was like, I'll circle back around.
Insane.
Yeah. But it's like, but it is funny how that movie literally was like, all right, we're gonna make a movie about toys, but then this is also genius because we're gonna also make those toys.
Yeah.
It's so genius, dude, and it just works so well.
You know, I feel like Steven Spielberg was like, what if we did Gremlins, but with toys?
Were you a Star Wars guy?
Big Star Wars guy. Okay. Yeah.
It sounds like your brother was also like in that same vein. Were you guys sharing toys?
We had shared toy hobbies, and Star Wars was one of them.
Okay.
We got into it after the re-release of the OG films on VHS.
Yeah.
And we watched it and we loved it, and at the time the Kenner line was out.
Yeah.
With like the unnecessarily super yoked Luke Skywalker for some reason.
Okay. Yeah.
Bro's built like
the
a brick shit house.
That's
dude.
funny.
Like,
That's funny.
I was like, this is a teenager. What are we doing?
I'm trying to remember the name because there's the Power of the Force, which that may have been the Power
That's
of the
it.
Force line.
Yeah, Power of the Force.
Because that would probably be like early '90s / like mid to late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Vehicles with that as well.
We didn't go too crazy with the vehicles. We had to have the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter, of course, and we had the Swoop, which was like a speeder bike.
Oh, okay.
Swoop. It came with the Swoop Trooper. It was like Swoop with the Swoop Trooper.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's funny.
And then but the fun part about that for me and my little brother is we did a lot of the Star Wars mail-aways.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I still have it. It's in my house. You might have seen it. It's the Ghost Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like a blue resin all the way over.
Yeah.
I have the Han Solo disguised as Stormtrooper.
Okay.
That was never released in the major line, just Luke. And then
so you were like doing the proof of purchase thing, right? Where it's like you had to take the proof of purchase, then you had to mail.
You wait 6 weeks and then you forget about it, and then it would come in like this little dinky box.
Dude, I never did that, but I would have loved that so much.
Oh, dude, it was great. I mean, it was something that my mom was like, cool, we're not spending like more money than we have to. The boys eat their breakfast now. Like, you know?
Yeah, I guess you really just were like, okay, if I just send this in as a proof of purchase and mail it, then they send it to you for free, essentially.
Yeah, and you would get exclusives. Like, I had a Moss Eisley Cantina band member.
Interesting, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, man, like, that's the thing is, like, now, like, that would sort of exist today, but only if you were, like, a Patreon subscriber to, like, Hasbro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
It's like, or Hasbro Plus.
And if, like, a brand was doing it, it would be, like, 23 UPCs.
Yeah, exactly.
Back then, it was 5.
Yeah.
Like,
see, and that's funny, like, you know, recently John did he bought the NECA blind box, which was like...
I saw the unboxing. That was a rough one.
It was a rough one. I thought that it definitely was like basically a Saturday out at Ross, but like the Flash Gordon stuff I thought was like really sick.
Yeah.
And we did a whatnot sale where we essentially just, you know, like offloaded like 95% of everything that came in the box. And like some of those NECA Flash Gordon stuff, probably like over 100 right now if you wanted to buy them like actively, and they were selling for like, I think we sold like for like $8 or something. Like somebody was cleaning house.
That's
it was
crazy.
But yeah, like, so that type of stuff is like, that's fun, but you still paid $130 for it. You know what I'm saying? So like the way that and this is, and I don't know, like, I guess it's really interesting to me because like you're somebody who has such a rich history and love for like the past. Do you go back in time or do you buy vintage, or is it primarily just like if they make remakes I'm good?
So some remakes, but I'm also really picky about my vintage.
Okay.
Like if the plastic has yellowing on it, it's not coming home with me because
it's
the
a
joints
rule.
might be sun damaged.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he might fall apart, and that would just be like, it would anger me.
So, meaning that you want it to be like pretty mint on card, then you bring it home, then you open it.
I open it.
So you are a guy that's like, the package needs to be pristine, and because I want to live the experience of like, this is perfect, I'm going to open it,
and I know the toy hasn't been exposed to elements for too long. You know, it hasn't sat in someone's storefront just
cooking.
Yeah, cooking.
Dude, that's what's so weird about some of these like toy stores is that they're just like setting their like glass case up against the window.
That's plastic.
And it's just sitting in there getting cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird,
What are we doing?
Yeah. I don't even know if they think about it like that, but yeah, that is kind of bizarre.
But when it comes to like vintage, it's very few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
I've picked up some G.I. Joe. There was this line from really obscure comics called Mage and Madman. I've been looking for that Madman at a decent price.
Oh, dude, so Madman, okay. So
Tall white filler.
He's white.
With the
red
bowl. Yeah.
So, I'm not familiar with that character.
Mm-hmm.
But I collect, obviously, solely like Marvel Toy Biz, right? So Toy Biz, before they went downhill, obviously Marvel went to Hasbro, which is where like I jumped ship, basically. Yeah. But before Toy Biz went down, they did the legend of the legendary comic book superheroes.
That's the one.
And Madman?
Yeah, Madman.
He's part of that line. Mm-hmm. And so is he Dark Horse or what was he?
I want to say Dark Horse.
He might be Dark Horse.
I feel like he was one of the...
Image.
He was independently owned.
Yeah.
Because that whole line, the one that I really wanted was Scud, the disposable assassin. And he was Dark Horse.
Dude, so talk about that, like that's some obscure, like that deep 90s vibe. That's crazy. Dude, the one I want really bad on that one is the Judge Dredd.
The 2000 AD one?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I love Judge Dredd. I feel so bad because he's like not a great person.
Yeah, I mean, but like for that, it's very 90s. It's very late 80s and very 90s.
Over the top.
And it's like, you know, he's killing the worst people ever, right? Like that's the kind of the thing. But so the Madman, I think they have like Monkey Man or something like that. A bunch of these other like bizarre off the top characters. The Conan is actually super sick. I probably would definitely.
Well, they also have like a Grendel.
Yeah.
And then I have, he has a name, but it's from the Mage comic. He's this balding dude in a trench coat with like a translucent bat that he can like form with his mind. I guess.
I mean, that's super off the wall.
I haven't read it, but
yeah, I mean, it spoke to you though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, that's what's funny. So like the Brimstone Love that I got up there, right, is basically like the reason I have that is to pay homage to Mikey because Mikey's like toy history cracks me up so much. It's just so chaotic.
Yeah,
right?
he's like, bro, showing us Shaquille O'Neal lines.
Yeah, like it's just so chaotic. And then he, you know, but it was like for him that was like his goated toy.
Yeah,
because it was like, you know, he just loved monsters. And I remember like shopping. I think we were in Dallas one time playing a show up there, and we went to Movie Trading Company, which I guess is like vintage stock now, I think. But he was like looking at all these like 90s ultra extreme like monster stuff, and he was like, "Oh, these are sick." But that's like what he was gravitating towards when he was younger. It was like the freak, the monster, like X-Men 2099, like that sort of like line, and it was like, oh man, that's funny to like learn about it. And we talked about it before on this podcast, but my favorite thing is he sent me a photo of when he was a kid playing with all these toys. Again, this is our drummer Mikey, and it's like in his driveway. And it's like the black 10-inch Power Ranger, like a dinosaur, and then there's like other characters that like make sense, and then there's a Nutcracker.
Hell yeah,
I mean,
that's my boy.
I know, it's just it was anything goes, you know.
You know that character had a name like Nutty McGunter or something
like that. Exactly. You know, he was scheming something funny with that. But yeah, man. Yeah, so I mean, if you go and if let's say, because we went to That was McAllen, yeah. So we were playing McAllen last July, I think it was, something like that. But we went to Big Boys Toys and Collectibles, and they had some gas there. But let's say you go back and or we go and we land at another toy store and they got like some hardcore vintage
There's
stuff.
something from that trip specifically that haunts me to this day.
Which is?
I don't know how tall it was. It was massive. The giant VR trooper.
Yes.
I was walking around with it and I was like, we're driving past the checkpoint. They're gonna think there's drugs in it or something.
Yeah,
I didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I talk about that time quite a bit here because of like how fun that experience was. Where it was like, we went there with the whole band. I was a little nervous because I was like, man, we were going with our friends and Soul Exchange, and I was like, I don't really know if these guys are really going to be into like coming into it, but everybody was just like freaking out about something because it was like everybody was a kid at one point. Everybody played. Not only that, but then like the store owners like Siri play Virtue or whatever, and then like he was like,
hey bro, you guys are in a band?
That's hilarious. Yeah. But okay, so if we go. Let's say we go to another vintage toy store and you go in there, and there is something that is like a grail type thing. What do you think that would be? And then I also want to know like rules of like what type of money that you would spend in a single setting, and like what would be like what would get you to be like, all right, I'm going big today.
You saw it.
Okay.
So when we walked into the Big Boys Toys, we were looking around, and I looked up and I saw the G.I. Joe USS Flagship.
Okay. I mean, I did. Yeah.
I've wanted that thing forever. It is the size. I would turn it into a coffee table at this point.
Yeah.
It's just so big.
But I mean, you're talking 3 Gs if it's in decent condition.
Right. So like, if it was there and there was an offer, I think I would need to split it into 4 payments, but I think I'd be cool with 800.
Okay. So if it was like, let's say if it was, so you might be able to, you could probably get away with that if it maybe they didn't come with a box or something like that.
Right. Like if it was
But 800 is probably the largest number we've talked on this podcast.
Really?
John's peak was like, he was, I forget where we were going, Retromania or something like that, but he was like, I'm prepared to spend 3. Mine is like, I'm usually capped at like 100.
Yeah.
But like 8 is a gnarly number, bro.
Dude, it depends. I don't know if you believe it or not, but I've had my finger on the trigger on that Absolute Batman Hot Toy for a minute. It is $400.
Holy dude! So Hot Toys is a whole different beast.
It's different, but there's like no licensed stuff for Absolute Batman.
So I'm curious. We talked about the Mattel,
obviously.
So I'm like, because I was telling John, I'm like, there's got to be. Like either McFarlane has it in its pipeline right now and they're just getting ready to like they're going down with the ship essentially, right? So they want to get the big guns out. So I'm like curious if they already have the Absolute Batman stuff or if that's something Mattel's going to strike at whenever it comes.
It needs to be done so well, which is why I'm like
the Hot Toys one's like perfect. $400.
It's insane. Like, but I know it's only going to get like really stupid the longer you wait on that one.
Yeah.
Like, because that's going to be a $1,200 resale eventually.
That's crazy.
It has to be.
Samantha was watching some Hot Toy videos and she was like, I love these. I want to get some. I'm like, let me just let you know that like these are starting at like triple digit type numbers. So like, don't get too excited,
Exactly.
Because that the Hot Toys game is like a whole other spectrum.
It's a different realm. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's one I'm nervous about like catching a taste for.
That's literally you. All you need is one.
Yeah.
But all right. I mean, so outside of the USS Flag, what do you think would be another? I guess just one that you just like could deny. Inbox, outside, whatever. What do you think?
It's oh god, I slept on it. And it's like insanely hard to find now, but before Street Sharks there was some, I think it was called Mighty Mutts. Well, let me see if I can find it. Look it up. It was like a pre-Street Shark line.
Okay.
And they had this one that was like a pit bull, and they had like the human features, but then the top really was big like a street shark.
Yeah.
And had pit bull, and it was, or no, it might have been a German Shepherd, but it was wearing a red leather jacket.
One of these like one-off cartoon.
I don't even know if it had a cartoon.
Okay.
I did. No, that's not it. It's not called Mighty Mutts. Pre-Street Shark Line. Let's see what comes up. Dang it, nothing's coming up.
That's really.
But yeah, it's super hard to find info on it alone as it is.
That's real, because I've come to that conclusion too, and like by doing this podcast, it was like, so that's the name. It's just stumbling on something and being like, holy crap, that's the thing. Like, I talk about one of the lines that I want to pursue, which was like Mystic Knights. I've never seen Mystic Knights in my entire life. The only time I ever witnessed it was going to my aunt's house in a very liminal space like experience where it was just dim lighting and like pictures, like Native American pictures and statues all over the walls and stuff. And then there just happens to be like this Mystic Knight figure, and I'm like, oh my god, I never knew what the name is ever. I didn't know what it was, and then I think it was doing this podcast, and then somehow, some way, it just like popped up, and I was like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I have to get it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it is just like, whatever it meant to you at the time, but it's like, I can't remember the names. And like Kids WB had a lot of those animated shows that like, there's a couple that pop in my mind that I'm like, oh, what is that called again? But Freakazoid, like that type of stuff where you're like, is that real or was that a figment of my imagination?
Right.
But then one day you're going to be at a toy store, you're going to be walking through an aisle, and he's going to be sitting right there, and you'll fall to your knees and be like, oh my god, destiny has led me here.
I'll try and find a picture of it and send it to you so you can cap it on the Instagram.
Please.
But yeah, it's a really. I think you're gonna dig the vibe of it too.
It sounds awesome.
It's so sick.
And that's what we were saying before. It's like with the Titan AE thing. It's like, dude, no matter what it is, there is a collecting space for it. Like even if it's the most weirdest thing, or even at the time you were like, this is kind of weird, and nobody else in my friend group liked it, somebody else thought
Someone
same thing.
took off with it.
It's so interesting, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, that's like hilarious and a very. I mean, I love the idea that you have such a rich, like, obviously, like memory of it. Like, there's no skipped beats other than like that thing, but it's just a super obscure line.
Yeah,
but it's just like. That's what we love so much about the podcast, is that it just invites like traveling down these memories and the experiences surrounding those memories. Like the Spawn thing is freaking hilarious. It's like just getting like you as a kid and then just some 40-year-old coming out of the freaking shadows. Like it's amazing. Bro. It's amazing. So one other question that like we asked, I think even just I kind of asked John because it was a little like I'm a little bit different, just kind of how I grew up, but. Was like, at what point, because most people's transition when they fall out of love with toys generally is video games.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you?
Not really. We were late adopters on video games.
By not being allowed to, or just not wanting to like have...
It was one of my parents had set a rule that if we ever wanted it, we had to like buy it ourselves.
Okay.
So we bought a Game Boy and we played it some, obviously the Pokemon Red and Blue. We played those. But it wasn't until PS1.
Okay, so 96, I think.
It was a little bit later because we weren't early adopters on it.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, we had that, and that was like the first time, and my mom made up for lost time. We had the Game Shark, so we had like San Andreas. I was just bitch slapping people with CJ. Like just like one around like, and he'd go across the map, like, because all the mods I'd throw on that thing.
Dude, that is so funny, man. So, okay, did you feel like that was a transition where it was like, all right, now that I had video games, and I guess where you were already older, but yeah, like, that's something that's...
The transition was definitely music. Yeah, because, like, once I got a bass at that age, I just wanted to dink around.
Yeah.
The video games continued then, but like it was a hard stop on any interest in figures at that time around then.
Yeah, I would say it's probably pretty similar with me, where I was like actively buying and playing with up until probably like definitely like 15 probably.
Yeah.
And then started playing music, and that sort of just took over my focus. It's always been in the back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to leave, and that's why.
Like, I still am going to look at the toy section. My girlfriend loses me in the store. She knows exactly where to find me.
Yes. The toy section has given purpose to, going to the store. Yeah, for sure. But, man, all right. I think we checked every box as far as I am concerned. We talked a little bit about lanterns on the way up here. So, yeah, tell me what your thoughts are.
I'm excited for it. I really like the direction James Gunn's going in.
Okay.
I also think, obviously the concern of a lot of people is you're not going to see the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're just playing it really cool so you don't see the crazy stuff. And I also understand the grievance of, I want to see that, now kind of thing. Superman delivered on that so hardcore. Immediately. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. With Green Lantern, I don't mind it as much because we haven't had a full in-depth character exploration with that character. Yeah. We got a Ryan Reynolds movie and I think an appearance on the 90s Flash.
That, and then obviously Zack Snyder teased. There was the one that was in
it was like the Lantern Corps dude.
Yeah. But it was also the thing that we never saw. It was a deleted scene with Jon Stewart. But he released a photo of it, and it's the most perfect Jon Stewart ever.
Dang.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I'm in the same boat where it's
and I think Coach Taylor's Hal Jordan is a perfect casting for an aged Hal.
I do too, but it's dude, the trailer threw me off a little bit because I thought he was going to be slightly more just kind of grizzled, but he's sort of just hang on to your hat, cowboy. He's kind of like that, and
yeah,
it is just sort of a head scratcher where I'm okay, they were so on the nose with Superman where they're every character, we're going to make Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho and all those characters are going to look like they do in the comics.
Yeah.
But then in this one, it's we're going to kind of go a different direction. And it's I do trust it because obviously Tom King is obviously he is an amazing writer and obviously landed his way into Hollywood. And then Damon Lindelof, and then whatever the other guy's name is, but he was the showrunner for Ozarks or whatever. So it's these guys were really good crime writers, and so it's I believe that they're gonna have something good to do, but it's just a really weird way to go about it because it almost feels like old comic book movie style where they were really scared to do the suit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're kind of holding off. Yeah. It was basically you would never full send on X-Men until current time.
Exactly.
I can understand that. I just think it's going to be, when you think about it, Green Lantern as a character to me, dude's basically alone most of the time because he's always facing some sort of cosmic threat or something. So I'm willing to give it a little leeway that if we're going to ground these characters in the world somehow, I think we can do that somewhat with the apparel. I think the big payoff will probably come at the end most likely.
Yeah.
But I also think we're going to get some crazy cosmic threat. Because, they're Green Lanterns. They're not going to fight just dudes with, guns.
Yeah. I think because he literally says and he's they're all aliens, right? He talks about I'm the only human, they're all aliens.
Yeah.
And I think because we know that Brainiac is coming in the next Superman movie, it's obviously put out there, then maybe that might be something that leads into it, right?
And it could just be visually we're raising the stakes. You have the funny, silly, whimsical, I guess, Peacemaker.
Yeah.
That show's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Then you have Superman, which is the beautiful, inspiring, vibrant colors.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first, mid-range, we're going to have some humor, but it's going to be kind of dark.
Yeah.
And probably leading us to something a lot more intense.
That's fair. I actually like that point of view. Because actually, that makes sense where it's I think somebody actually complimented James Gunn on this where it was okay, it's the things that are going to need to be their thing, they're going to be those things. Which is weird with the Green Lanterns, but obviously a lot of the Green Lantern, he's a pilot, and so it's there was a lot of life that lived surrounding it. So, and he's older, so maybe there's there's going to be this thing where he's probably going to talk about and maybe there's flashbacks or whatever. His experience is probably being the Green Lantern for years.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, and also the jacket he's wearing, it's sick. It's a double RL jungle cloth. It's like $700.
Hilarious. I was gonna say, do they come into the store and you help them design it or what?
Nah, double RL is just that brand. It's a Ralph Lauren like top tier brand. But if you're shooting a movie and don't want to pay for something to look old, that's your line. That's what Fear the Walking Dead, all of them use. Like
Gotcha.
Expensive, but in the long run cheaper than anything they would distress.
That's hilarious. Actually, to think about that. Yeah, they're buying like these crazy expensive stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, good deal, man. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a wildly different episode to an extent because we typically do segments and kind of go through the news and stuff. But this one, I wanted to be just straight up conversational because I knew that Chase and I could obviously talk for hours on this. Because regardless if we were recording or not, and if like some of the other guys in the band were here, this conversation would just happen in general. So I think that's the best thing about it. But Chase, appreciate you coming on the episode.
Of course.
Man.
Good to be here.
Yeah, really excited to just see the continuation. Please post pictures, tag Mighty Champions, so we can all see your diorama. And
I got to work up the courage for it, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean it is a really funny thing where it's like, you know, I've been posting a lot more on social media of just like, hey, I'm buying toys. And it's like, you can tell people are kind of just like looking at it and being like, that's interesting.
I know. It's like that meme of like the girlfriend going like, this is my boyfriend and he's going to show you his 5 favorite figures. Be nice.
Yeah,
like,
it is like that, but it's also just like, but then it's like funny how like these random people that I know and have known for a very long time in very, very far different, you know, walks of life and on the other end of the spectrum of toy collecting, just being like either liking it or like DMing and being like, oh, that's sick, like whatever. Because it's like, again, like we said before, people like if you were an 8-year-old boy at one point in your life, like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm talking about.
Freaking sick, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, man. Any finishing thoughts or anything like that?
Nothing that would add to the value. I could say some stupid stuff right now.
Okay, well, you know, this one might actually get the E for explicit, but
not all pee-pee times are poo-poo times, but all poo-poo times are pee-pee times. Tune in next week.
There you have it, folks. That's Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio. We'll see you on the next one.